We're back with Mario Zelaya, serial Canadian entrepreneur. Hope you don't mind me calling you a serial entrepreneur, but I always think those folks are the real entrepreneurs because they're never, so they're never satisfied with one particular enterprise. They want to explore others. Now, you were certainly very vocal on various social media channels prior to the recent federal election as to your views about who would be the best government for Canada. Now that we've seen the election results, what are your thoughts about how the new government will impact entrepreneurship in Canada?
Well, I think the big problem that we all face is at a macroeconomic level. And the macroeconomic issue that we face is we're refusing to take advantage of all the resources that Canada has available to us, and namely those resources being oil and gas. Japan had come to us, Germany had come to us, and the Liberal Party said, there's no business case to supply you guys with liquefied natural gas. Donald Trump, I think 2 months ago, signed a $1 trillion deal for that same LNG opportunity that we had with Japan. This is a massive, massive blow to our economy. And that was, I would say, probably one of the biggest deals of a lifetime that we could have had. And it's not a far-reaching concept to basically start materializing these things because ultimately there's a concept in economics called the Laffer curve where you can tax people to a certain point and then there's diminishing returns on productivity based on where we are in taxation. I think we're past that peak now, and I think the only thing we've been doing is taxing our citizens more and more, and that macroeconomic level issue that exists of high taxes, high debt, and no end in sight is creating a massive problem for entrepreneurs. And the brain drain that we're seeing is actually from people like myself who are high income earners who are saying, you know what, I don't even need to be here. Like like I can literally just leave today, pay half the taxes, pay my house would cost half as much, and I could probably be living on a beach and move to America. And that has been the problem of Canada consistently. And so when we see the declining GDP per capita, not many folks have talked about this. It's not necessarily that, we're quote unquote earning less. It's the top performers are leaving. These are the innovators. These are the entrepreneurs. They're the ones that bumped up the GDP per capita and we're continuing to grow, but they're going elsewhere. And so we see a lot of highly successful and very intelligent Canadians basically leaving. And so when it comes to entrepreneurship, I mean, like right now we're in a place where there's so much red tape, things take so long to do. We have high taxes, people have low disposable income. It's very, very difficult to succeed under that environment. And it's not to say it's impossible. It's just it's not as easy to succeed here as it once was like ten years ago. And where we were 10 years ago compared to now, complete night and day. Completely night and day. And I always say this to my wife, even though, this, we have substantially like more wealth today, I felt richer 10 years ago than I do today, which is a crazy concept compared to how quickly I've grown things over the years. But that's the reality of what we're living in. And so I think Mark Carney's approach to business is not, I don't think it falls well and it doesn't line up well with entrepreneurial because they've always taken this approach of corporate welfare. And they've always watched out for these companies like, oh, you want to build an EV plant? Here's 20 billion. Here's 10 billion. Well, guess what? We just got tariffed and there goes that whole industry in Ontario. And so they made a lot of really bad bets and they bet on the big guys, on multinational multi-billion dollar corporations instead of people like myself and other entrepreneurs that actually employ hundreds of people. And when you magnify that to a great degree, you have a massive successful economy. And so I think there needs to be a shift in the approach from the Liberal Party to actually start supporting entrepreneurs more.
No, well, like as someone who's spent her career defending the interests of entrepreneurs, you're singing my song. But it is unfortunate, and I guess we'll see. It's a new government. We'll see. I remember I meeting with Mark Carney when he was Bank of Canada governor years ago, and we'll see if he's learned any lessons, and we'll actually get away from the authoritative style that we've seen: big government, big taxes, and very very damaging to the small medium-sized business sector. Well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you to my guest, Mario Zelaya, Canada needs more entrepreneurs like you, Mario, who aren't afraid to take a challenge and make a significant contribution to our economy. I'm Catherine Swift, President of the Coalition of Concerned Manufacturers and Businesses of Canada. Thank you for watching Canadian Innovators. If you're an innovator and would like to tell us your story, write to us at ideas@thenewsforum.ca. We'll see you next time.